Hello, my name is Christine Padberg, and my project is Reading in the Digital Age. I chose this topic because it supports a major endeavor that I'm undertaking as part of my job as a reading instructor at St. Louis Community College. You see, this semester, I'm on sabbatical. This means I've been excused from teaching for one semester so that I can work on something that's interesting to me and something that I can bring back to the college. I had been noticing, of course, that reading was changing and evolving right before my eyes, due in large part to another passion of mine, technology. Students today are definitely reading online and with devices more and more, and yet there doesn't seem to be much support offered at colleges and universities for this new world of reading. And even in reading classes, the reading strategies presented apply mostly to paper-based reading. So I decided to focus my sabbatical on exploring the future of reading, hoping that my work would help our students and encourage reading faculty to include digital literacies in their reading courses. So I posed 3 questions for myself. First of all, how is digital reading different from print-based reading? Second, what are the challenges and the frustrations that often accompany reading online for college students and really for other adults? And what programs, apps, and web tools are available to help mitigate those challenges? And I set out to address them in 3 ways: coursework, research, and surveys. I am very grateful that this course brought me to a 4th component of my project, the Digital Literacy Toolbox, which I began working on as part of the online activity that we did in this class. I was very pleased in doing my research to discover that there has been some research in this area, and with it some new language to discuss this expanded notion of reading. Instead of just saying reading now, researchers are calling it digital literacies, new literacies, transliteracies, 21st century literacies, contemporary literacy. And every bit of the research that I did on online reading affirmed my hunch that online reading is fundamentally different from print-based reading. For example, the National Council for Teachers of English says this, that online reading requires a different set of skills and strategies than offline reading, and that these different skills and strategies are required because online reading is frequently information seeking, guided by the reader rather than the teacher, so there we have our self-directed learning, is nonlinear, meaning that readers follow a series of hyperlinks and navigate through multiple windows rather than reading something from beginning to end. So after reading just about everything I could find on this issue, it was clear that there was a distinct set of skills required for 21st century literacy, and that they basically fell into 5 categories. Reading today requires quite a bit from readers, since each one of these 5 skill sets has many component parts. But in a nutshell, they are locating information, comprehending it, evaluating it, organizing and interacting with it, and then, of course, managing the technology in which it's found. So that locating information, that has many parts. In order for a student or a reader to do that, they have to understand about search engines and keywords, domain tags. They have to know how, when they do a Google search, they know how to interpret whether or not those results are relevant. They have to know how to skim and scan. And then something that's truly challenging and new for online readers are hyperlinks and hypertext. When reading a web article, when do you click on a hyperlink? And how long do you stay in it before returning to the original article? New readers also have to deal with embedded media like images and videos and sound clips and gain information from those. Within the comprehending, these strategies and skills are basically still very similar to traditional literacy. We have to be able to relate background knowledge to the new information. We have to determine topics and main ideas, locate how authors support those ideas. We have to be able to recognize organizational patterns and understand the words that are being used, and of course, to draw inferences and conclusions. Today's readers, though, need to evaluate much more than in the past. That means employing our critical thinking skills like, is this website and the information current? Is it relevant and accurate? Is it biased? Is it fully inclusive? Or maybe are some things left out? Who's the author? And on what authority is this author telling me this information? Why did the author write it? What's the tone reveal about the attitude toward the information? And who is the intended audience? Those are very challenging skills for readers, even very proficient readers, much less new college students. So being a reader today also involves organizing and interacting. We often hear this term Web 2.0. So what that means is that once we've read something or located an article and comprehended it, now what do we do with it? There's bookmarking, including social bookmarking. There's tagging and annotating, meaning how to highlight, or what students used to do with highlighting and writing in the margins, or maybe using sticky notes. How do you do that online? How do you share that information? And how do you store it and save it in a way that's organized so that you can get to it later when you need it? And then finally, managing the technology. You don't just sit down to a computer screen and have an article in front of you to read. Students today have to know how to actually interact with the technology itself. So that, for some students, means even just accessing a computer, having internet connection. They have to know how to navigate browsers and LMSs like Blackboard. Some students, especially older students, have to become more familiar with using the mouse and the trackpad, adjusting the screen and font size so that things are readable, moving between tabs and windows without getting lost, toggle pop-up windows, invoke ad blockers, save and remember account and passwords, and know how to find support when any of those things aren't working. So in addition, I wanted to find out more about challenges and what good readers are doing about them. So I created and distributed 2 surveys to find out more about the challenges of reading online and what good readers do to mitigate those challenges. The second survey was to find out whether college reading instructors are addressing these issues in their courses. The results were clear. Even good readers have many struggles when it comes to digital reading, and I don't even have to read all these to you. I'm sure these are many of the same challenges you've had when you've tried to sit down and do digital reading. Fortunately, I also discovered a lot of web apps and tools that can help us with all of our online reading tasks. In fact, I discovered more apps and tools that I could possibly learn about. What seemed to be missing was how to put all of this together. Well, first and foremost, because web tools and other technology are changing every day, and we're changing along with it, the most important thing is to help students learn how to learn about digital literacy. Reading classes for students of all reading abilities can be very helpful in this area. And even as the technology changes, these 3 steps will remain. Establish goals and purpose for the reading in the first place. Then choose the best tools, strategies for the task at hand. And finally, monitor your comprehension and make any changes as necessary. Of course, this means that students need to know what the tools are out there and how to use them. And that's where the digital literacy toolbox that I began in this course comes in. When it's finished, the website will align different digital reading needs with web tools that meet those needs. So for annotation, there are web tools for that. For bookmarking and tagging, there are tools for that, and so forth. Note-taking, organizing, comprehension, searching, and sharing. In addition, I'll create screencast tutorials that demonstrate how to use 4 of the most valuable player web tools that I believe every student would benefit from, and those are Diigo, Evernote, Readability, and Jing. So that's why I chose the topic of reading in the digital age. It's what I learned about it and what I plan to do with it going forward. Of particular use to me from this course was, first of all, just increasing my understanding of the principles of andragogy. I also plan to expand and share the annotated bibliography I created as part of the Digital Literacy Toolbox. The online activity that I created that had students learning about and using Diigo is something I can actually bring into my reading classroom. And while you, my dear classmates, are the audience for this PowerPoint, the work I did to create this can be repurposed when I create my sabbatical presentation. Thank you very much for your time, and if you have any further questions, I hope that you will contact me.